Yesterday, everything backfired. What was supposed to be a political takedown turned out to be a full-blown humiliation. And at the center of it all was William Samoei Ruto, who tried to weaponize a family will.
Mali ya wajane na mayatima utarudisha.
Only for the entire family to turn against his narrative.
The family, through its spokesperson, Mpesa Gachagua, have dismissed claims of forgery of the will.
I mean, by now, William Ruto should just leave Gachagua alone, because every time he tries to go after him, he ends up the one looking not serious. In the last 24 hours, Ruto has suffered two major blows. First, a political embarrassment in Nyandarua, Olkalau.
Ni kweli ulinitoa kwa ofisi, lakini kunitoa kwa roho za hii watu ni kibarua.
Rigathi Gachagua completely outshined and outplayed him in public.
Kunitoa kwa roho ya hii watu ya mlima ni kama kukata miti ya mugumo na wembe.
And then, a much deeper, a much personal blow. One that was supposed to damage Gachagua's name forever.
Ile nyumba iko Kilifi. Mali ya mjane na watoto leo.
But collapsed instantly.
It was purely nonsensical, the accusations.
Let's talk about it. If you love this kind of content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Now let's get to the video.
The family of late Nyeri County Governor Nderitu Gachagua is appealing to President William Ruto for justice. Led by Margaret Nyokabi Nderitu and her 4 children, the family claims a purportedly doctored will has subjected them to years of tribulations since the death of their patriarch.
Back in 2017, Nderitu Gachagua passed away in a London hospital. But just a week before his death, he signed a 9-page will. Not just a will, but a masterpiece. So detailed, it's actually studied in Kenyan law schools.
There is a will that is considered as the best to have ever been written in Kenya. And that is the will of Nderitu Gachagua, who is the elder brother of Rigathi Gachagua. But also remember, he was the first governor of Nyeri County.
This will covered 2 wives, children, extended family, even included his brother, Rigathi Gachagua.
My brother had a complicated family. So he did a will that took care of everybody so that there is peace.
And here's what made it powerful.
There are 3 things that make this will very impressive. First, the will had something that we call a non-contest clause, which explicitly stated, and I quote, this is Nderitu writing the will himself, if any of the above listed beneficiaries raised any issue in court as to the mode of distribution in this will, he/she shall be disqualified from inheriting my property. That is why in 2018, when all the beneficiaries were gathered before a judge to confirm and consent to the will, no beneficiary dared to challenge the will because they knew they would automatically lose their share. Second, Nderitu ordered for something that we call mandatory liquidation. What this means is that all his properties must be sold and the cash be distributed to each beneficiary.
Sell all assets, distribute the cash, avoid family fights. No chaos, no confusion.
Finally, the will was very inclusive. It covered over 29 different beneficiaries because Nderitu Gachagua had a very complex family structure that included even the extended family. So the will covered over 29 people, which included the 2 wives, the 2 baby mamas, all the children born out of wedlock, his mother, his brothers, his stepbrothers and sisters, and even the children of his late brother. So over 30 people benefited from him.
And for a whole 10 years, the family accepted it peacefully.
And there has been peace for 9 years mpaka Kasongo ameingilia.
Suddenly, in March of 2026, a section of the family, led by the first wife, claims that the will was doctored. They say that it was marked draft. They say that some beneficiaries were actually left out.
In the letter signed by Gachagua's widow Margaret Nyokabi and their 4 children, the family claims a brother to the deceased relied on the disputed will to disinherit them.
They take it straight to the president, not to the court, to the president, President William Ruto.
The family is now appealing to President William Ruto to institute an independent and impartial investigation into the alleged forgery of the will.
And it is at this point where things get political.
The law of succession, my brother, it's not a matter for the president of Kenya to handle. The law of succession is handled by courts of law. If anybody is dissatisfied by what is happening in a succession implementation, you don't go to the president of Kenya, you go to court.
Because Ruto jumps it publicly, framing it as protecting widows and orphans.
Kwa sababu mimi na mwanaume naweza kujitetea, lakini wajane na mayatima hawawezi kujitetea. Dunia hii tutawatetea, hata mbele ya Mungu tutawatetea.
But critics saw something else, a political attack targeting his estranged former deputy, Nderitu Gachagua.
You know what is happening, eh? William Ruto is playing politics. So he thinks he can come and interfere with family matters. One, he's meddlesome. This is our family. He's not a member of our family. Number two, if there was a problem with the family estate, you go to court. You don't go to William Ruto.
Gachagua on his part, he did not stay silent. On April 8th, 2026, he did something bold. He published the full will, every page, every clause, complete transparency.
The will is 9 pages long and very specific. It outlines exactly how property, money, and assets were to be distributed.
And then came the knockout punch. Yesterday, the entire Gachagua family came out, not divided, not confused, united.
Tonight, the family of the late Nahashan Gachagua, father of the late former Nyeri Governor Nderitu Gachagua, and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua have dismissed claims that Nderitu Gachagua's will was forged.
They confirmed this will is legitimate. It was prepared months in advance. It was never forged.
The family says the will was prepared by the former governor's lawyers several months before his hospitalization in London, where he later died in 2017.
And then a clear message to the president: stay away from family matters.
I don't want to go into that because I'm not a politician. But my thinking is that that information was given to Ruto so that Ruto could use that information to, reduce the popularity of my brother in Mount Kenya.
And just like that, the narrative collapsed. What was meant to paint Gachagua as greedy now painted Ruto as desperate, politically opportunistic, and willing to interfere in private family affairs.
Nimemwambia Kasongo, tafadhali, hiyo wili ya Gachagua usipigane naye. Take time and read it. Itakusaidia mbele. Si ndio? Vile mimi najua Kasongo. Hii wili ya Gachagua, aso itamsaidia mbele. Don't fight it.
Politically, this is dangerous because now Gachagua looks transparent, he looks targeted, he looks stronger than William Ruto. It looks like Ruto picked a fight with the wrong person.
Mumesema ukonde imeshindwa kumaliza, mkasema mumaliza na maneno.
Sometimes in politics, you don't lose because your opponent is strong. You lose because you miscalculated. And this was a massive miscalculation on the side of William Ruto.
This matter was concluded in court by consent. Nobody said no. And the records are there. Those 4-5 people he met yesterday, all of them have received money. When we sold Olive Garden, the ones for 10%, they got 50 million. The ones for 5% got 25 million. Everybody has gotten their own money. So this is politics. And it's unfortunate that when our country has so many problems, the president has abandoned his work to look after the country. He is now meddling in families.
Now the question is actually very, very simple. If this attack failed so badly, what next? And more importantly, how many more battles can William Ruto actually afford to lose before 2027 catches up with him? Tell me in the comment section and do not forget to subscribe.